And I think previously you mentioned that you were held back a year, like
Yeah,
when
that's
you were
right.
13.
Yeah, that's right. So that was the way the school worked. If you don't quite adapt to this system or
Yeah.
this one way of education, then you're going to be punished for it. And I was. And I maybe didn't quite realize the significance of that emotionally
Yeah.
until now or a few years ago. But that was commonplace. That was a sort of practice. It was power over, very much a power over approach, and there was no leeway.
Yeah, that's so shit. Yeah, like whenever I was around like again, I think it was like around like maybe like 12 or no, I think I must have been like 10 or 11. We basically I got test anxiety, and so when we would do standardized tests in America, I would get super anxious, like just little me, and just freeze. Like I would freeze and not be able to do the test. Like and they like failed me on it. And then even though I had passed the entire grade, because I had failed that test, they wanted to hold me back a year. And yeah, some bullshit. And so my mom took me out of school and switched schools, and then they put me in my right grade. Yeah, so she was just like, "Oh hell no!" Like I'm not. But that would like, yeah, it
so
made me feel.
traumatizing.
It made me feel so shit. Like I was like, I don't think I'm stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I feel like I can. Like they kind of just made me feel like really bad. Like
Yeah, and
so
also
confusing.
considering the fact that you will be like, so you see who's below, like the year below, and you see the people that are in the year above. And
That's
then imagine
embarrassing.
how embarrassing, yeah, it would be for you
Yeah.
to, they don't consider that. Like, you have to go to school and you have to see your friends that were in your year.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Like,
Yeah, like mentally, that's not, I don't know if that's a good approach.
Not at all. I mean, I very much was convinced that I was stupid, which is a bit of a shame because it kind of shapes a lot of people.
Did anyone ever tell you that you were stupid? Why did you come to the conclusion, like, other than, like, that year?
It was mostly awareness, I think. Mostly not really understanding why I was so disengaged. I know you were saying about test anxiety. For me, it was just, I don't want to be here. I need to do whatever I can during this test. It was a horrible environment where you had rows and columns of people sitting doing a test. And you could almost hear every single pencil scratch and everything. It was just so horrible. But I can just remember saying, I don't want to be here. I'm going to answer whatever I can to get out of here.
Literally, that's what I did.
I was the first one out.
Yeah.
And I guess, being held back and things like that is sort of, and then you come back for the next year and go, right, you don't want a repeat of that, do you? And it's just not, it's not very helpful, but maybe not quite realizing it at the time. And then seeing other people who were so, academically engaged, and then wondering, why am I not the same?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That must have been so hard, to be so aware, just aware of that.
Aware but unaware of my awareness.
But feeling almost like you can't do anything about it. Like this is just something you're just gonna have to go through, like school, instead of
Pretty much, which exactly. And I think by the time I was maybe 14, 15 is when I started to realize that, the people who were doing well were very similar. They were they were the same. Again, a lot of things that I wish I was taught I wasn't. The biggest one being the depth of emotion.
Yeah.
You're almost sort of taught, this is happy, this is sad, this is angry, but not quite realizing that there's depth to that. And then seeing that lack of depth amongst my peers, the lack of empathy or sympathy, it was, again, not quite being able to process at the time until now, looking back in retrospect.
Yeah. Do you have
retrospectively.
Do you have a specific moment where you remembered like a friend doing something and you're like, why would you do that? Do you know what I mean? Or not thinking in the kind of way that you
Yeah.
would process something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
when I moved to Cyprus. It was the strangest experience of my life. This was really the defining moment where I sort of realized that this is a machine. Maybe the first time I thought of school as a machine, and I thought of everyone as equal moving parts, and I wasn't a part of that, and I just could not understand why. They were so similar.
Yeah.
They were so similar to each other, and it terrified me. And I met some very nice people, obviously. People who I'm still friends with to this day.
That's cool.
But maybe after school, after my time there, we became friends. During school, maybe acquaintances, but just not quite getting it. I just didn't get it. How did you follow this path? Like, and that school in particular was very, like, felt like very military. You had to wear this uniform which had to be ironed. I was 14, for goodness sake. I had to wear like a tie. I remember 2 or 3 times I was pulled out of my class because I had stubble.
Really?
Yeah. They take you
God.
to the toilet, give you a disposable razor,
Oh, that'd be awful and painful.
and make you shave. And the vice principal or whoever it was would be watching you, and only until he
That's
was
so
satisfied with how
weird.
you've shaved, you're allowed back in class.
That sounds kind of like the school Selby went to.
Like brainwashing.
It's
Like,
it's brainwashing.
just
And
Brainwashing.
It's
And
just
and-
like, yeah, as you're saying,
Exactly.
military style in
Yeah.
a way.
seeing
That's so
everyone so
intense.
like
orderly.
Discipline,
Like,
discipline.
blah, step. Like, yeah, just
yeah,
like,
yeah. And
no.
and I just, that's when I knew something's not right,
Oh, don't
either with
belong
me or
I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
it was horrendous. And
No way.
you know, we moved a lot because of my dad's job, who, you know, always wanted to do right by everybody, my mum, my sisters, myself, and he did, very much so. It just happened to be it was unfortunate, the situations, yeah, that I found
that
myself
sucks
in.
for you.
And it's incredibly thankful that I don't look back at it in any
Yeah.
like spiteful way.
Don't look back in anger.
Yeah, exactly. It contributed to a lot of good things, but yeah, we sort of dad said that, you know, we're moving back to the UAE, and yeah, I can remember that feeling. It was bliss. And I thought, I just, maybe not bliss for going back to the UAE, but for leaving this situation. It just had to
Okay,
end.
relieved as
Out of
well.
here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I've never felt relief like that in my life. And that was maybe the first time I understood the depth of relief.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I really hated that place.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
And we went back, and I went to that test, the AESS, which was the school I graduated from, and
Cool.
Oh, wait, so you were allowed to chill and do whatever you wanted.
yeah, so
Ready, let loose.
yeah, that school they
Yeah.
didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
They
It
didn't
was
give a
like-
shit. There was no holding anybody back. You get any grade you like, go do the next year, whatever.
Woohoo.
But then I also met some friends who, you know, again, I'm very, very close with to this day, who were,
That's cool.
everyone was kind of strange. Everyone was kind of effed up and in their own way. And we found like some sort of solidarity or companionship
That's cute.
in that. And then I guess that's when that feeling came with you know, this, it might not be as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
And that's when music started to have a particular impact.
Yeah.
And that's when the skiving started at that school. And they didn't care. They didn't even know I was skiving until like a month later.
It's my first time.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, we'd skive and go to someone's house and watch American Pie.
Yeah.
That, like, it was just, it
That's so
was,
funny.
yeah, exactly. It wasn't anything of particular like
Yeah.
significance, but it was just to get away.
That's
You never Skype school?
I did by the end of school. Like, so basically, when